Welcome to C-Suite Sherpas, where we shine a spotlight on business experts and resources that you should know. I'm your host, Ron Partridge, and today I'm excited to have Ilka Jordan, founder and CEO of Jordan Alliance Group. Welcome, Ilka.
Nice to be here. Hi, Ron.
Right. So Jordan Alliance Group, they specialize in really guiding businesses through change, and they have this focus on execution and really delivering measurable outcomes, which as a former executive is something that makes me feel great because it's always something we strive to do. And so Ilka and her team have a really clear way to get this done, and we're going to hear a lot about that today. So are you ready to roll, Ilka?
I'm ready.
All right, so we'll just jump right in. So, if you could just give us an overview or a snapshot of what your business is and the major outcomes that you really get for your clients.
All right. So, as you mentioned, I'm CEO of Jordan Alliance Group, and we're all about helping businesses navigate their transformation. And that's whether it's adopting new industry through new industry shifts, or optimizing their operations, or embedding sustainable growth strategies. We work with them to make sure that they stay competitive. I got into this because I've spent over 2 decades leading transformation initiatives
Hmm.
in the retail industry, and I saw a real gap. And companies that were making big strategic changes, but they were struggling to execute them. And not because they lacked vision, but they really lacked the right framework to make it stick. So that is why I developed Tag Forward. And that is our proprietary framework that bridges strategy and execution.
How important is the leader's readiness in any kind of transformation like this? And do you work closely with the leaders to make sure that they're ready and they're really able to drive this change?
Yes, what's very important about this framework is that it does take you through a roadmap. And one early part of the roadmap is to ensure that not only the leaders, but the organization is ready for the transformation. And that's why the organizational principles that is the foundation of the framework is around transparency, accountability, and governance.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. So, do you have any examples maybe of where you guys, and you don't have to mention the client or names or anything, just where you've been able to really help the company get to the transformation results or the outcomes that they were trying to get to?
Yes, typically clients call us in is when they're struggling with execution. And when we come in to do our assessment, we not only observe what's happening, we're hearing from all of the key stakeholders that are involved. And so therefore we want to get a holistic view of where they're struggling. And over the 20 years that I've been doing this, it's always about more of not everyone is on the same page. And so this initiative was kicked off with not everyone understanding the role that they play in it, even though they have been elected as being some of the change agents for the initiative. So again, we come in with this framework that we've developed over the years. So it's not something that just came about. It's been improved upon based on real world issues and real world struggles of trying to get from strategy to execution. And what we find is that those key principles were either skipped or not being implemented the way it should to ensure that you have a smooth transition from your strategy implementation and then execution. And that's from the words of the people that are involved. So that's why we come in with the beginning part of making this assessment, making sure that everything that's expected within this initiative is transparent, whether it'll be surveys to understand what people are doing or communications to give them information about what the initiatives are all about, and doing that due diligence to make sure we could check the box that transparency is embedded in this work. And then it goes on with accountability, really going through the process of having everyone understand what role they play. And the big one is governance, which is at the forefront, making sure that everything that's put in place, because everyone's working hard to make sure that this works. I mean, companies are putting millions of dollars into this effort. And if you do not have a governance structure in place to ensure that the first two is transparency, accountability is embedded, then execution and right. And that's just not implementing because some people get confused between implementation and execution. So you got these nice strategies, you implement it, and then boom, everyone assumes that it's rocking and rolling. But governance helped the execution part, and that's really reinforcing everything that was put in place, measuring it across time, and making sure that you are achieving the goals that you've set out to achieve.
Oh, that's awesome. So is the tag framework kind of what sets your business approach apart from others that kind of do the same thing, or are there other things as well?
There are definitely other things, but tag forward is really that revolutionary thing. Because again, over the 20 years, seeing that that's the part where people fail. We come in to organizations right after one of the big four consulting companies have just left. And what we get is a big deck with a beautiful strategy plan, meaning if it were to execute the way they say, that company will be on top. The
Yeah.
problem is no one knows how to execute it. Our focus is on executing that strategy, putting those plans into place, but doing it in a structured way where we're not missing any key player or any best practice. And that's where Tech Forward is that framework that will keep you on track because it does have those core principles embedded. It does have an actual roadmap that if you follow it, you will be able to then repeat it, enhance it, and start again. It's cyclical. It's not even a linear process. And one of the key components of it is the feedback loop. And that's where we could sustain it. So it's long term. Execution is about refining, enhancing, and constantly improving.
That's great. So what's the biggest challenge that your industry faces, and how are you kind of tackling that with your clients?
Yeah, I believe the challenge really is that execution gap.
Hmm.
That's the biggest challenge. I mean, these companies are really good with these strategies. Everyone's on par. They know exactly what needs to happen to bring their company forward, to remain competitive, to really listen to what their customer base is saying. It really stalls when it comes to execution. And again, that's different than implementation.
In the 32 years I was an executive, execution was the number one issue. It was always the number one issue. So it sounds like you've got a great framework to help the company get better at achieving the outcomes of execution.
So they
Yeah,
need to be able to put the right people and framework in place in their organization so they can effectively execute all of
right.
the initiatives that they put out.
Yeah, and that feedback loop I think is critical. So, how do you see this kind of field evolving over the next 5 to 10 years? And how are you staying ahead of it? And there's always one thing viewers are interested in, AI. And does AI apply to any of this? So,
Yeah, over the 5 to 10 years, I see businesses moving towards greater agility and deeper technology integration, i.e. AI, and then continuous adaptation, right? Because everything's changing and you need to stay very agile to keep up with the changing environment. So I see them going beyond any rigid strategies as they have today in place and embracing more scalability and flexibility in their initiatives. One of the things that we continue to do is to improve upon our methodologies. And that is leveraging AI-driven insights to strengthen real-time adaptability, We also want to strengthen cross-functional alignment. That's a key thing in successfully implementing. And then we do a lot of industry research. I don't know if you saw my bio, but next month you'll be calling me Dr. Ilka Jordan Whitaker.
Oh,
I'll be getting my DBA. And basically, I'm very much into what the future looks like. I'm future-minded and I do a lot of research to make sure that any advice that I give my clients or anyone that I'm engaging with, it's factual and it's been proven empirically.
well, that's great. That's awesome. So let me, on that note, it's a great time to shake it up a little bit. So we'd like the viewers to kind of get to know you a little bit more personally, not too personally. So we'll ask you just a series of quick questions. Just give me your first answer and we'll go from there. So if you're ready, we'll get to it.
Okay.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Tea now, but I was coffee for a while.
Mm. Cats or dogs?
Dogs. I have two poodles.
Ah, nice. Favorite quote or phrase that you think about often?
All right. I think about a lot of quotes, but I think they come from me because I kind of change it up. So it's get it right, keep it tight.
Ah, nice. That's a very good one. How about a favorite movie or streaming series?
Oh, you know what? I watch a lot of streaming. And if I go back, the favorite one, and it goes way back, is 24.
Okay.
Really love it. And for some reason, like a few years ago, I actually watched the series again. I like that
Yeah.
kind
So,
of. Also, the House of Cards. I like that series as well.
yeah, that's a good one. Last question, two parts. One bucket list item that you've already accomplished and one bucket list item that you have not yet accomplished.
I would say the one that I've accomplished, and it was about 5 years ago. My husband and I, we finally went to South Africa and we did a safari, and it was the best vacation ever.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
um, so what we have on our list now, and I mean, we've done a lot of traveling, but I think it'll be going farther, right? To New Zealand or somewhere where you're on the plane 24 hours, as opposed to 16 or 18.
Yeah, that's great. So I guess that ends the lightning round, but there's one more very, very important question and that is if any of our viewers would love to get a hold of you and collaborate with you, what's the best way to do that?
I would say LinkedIn. So go to my LinkedIn account. It's under Ilka Jordan right now, but if you get to me in another couple of months, it'll be Dr. Ilka Jordan Whitaker. And also my website, which is www.jordanalliance.com.
All right. And Ilka is ILKA, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Yes.
Just if you're looking her up on LinkedIn. So, Ilka, it's been great to have you today. Great insights. It was very interesting, and I'm grateful that you came on. Thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Ron.